7 heroes caught on camera. In this video, we take a look at 7 humble heroes who were caught on camera. Included are a brave bus driver, friendly strangers, and a host of heartwarming stories which may help to restore your faith in humanity. When an elderly man was trapped inside of his flaming home in October of 2014, he thought he was unlikely to escape. As things escalated and the flames led to an explosion, concern continued to grow.
Your dad is still in there? Your dad is in there? I called 911. It's Poppy! Oh my God. It's Dad!
73-year-old Fresno resident Robert Wells was unable to escape of his own accord. He was attached to the oxygen tank which aids his breathing and struggled with mobility. Had he been left to his own devices, he likely would have died. In footage caught on the cell phone of a passerby, the stakes were beginning to increase. In this video, a man wearing blue jeans and an LA Dodgers cap enters the frame. Calmly walking toward the flames, he disappears for a little while before emerging from the fiery furnace carrying Robert Wells over his shoulder.
There's a man inside. It has to get in here. I called 911, but we've got to get...
Is everybody out?
No, there's a man in there. She said. We got to get the dad out of there. Oh my God.
So is everybody out?
No, there's a man inside.
Right here.
Oh,
Is everybody out?
oh, thank God.
Is everybody out?
Oh, thank God.
Everybody's out.
Here he is.
The mystery man saved Wells only 4 minutes after an anonymous source first called 911 to report the increasing inferno. The blaze went on to destroy 2 homes and shock plenty of unsuspecting residents. Shortly after the incident, the identity of the savior was discovered. The man, Thomas Arteaga, had intentionally shunned the limelight, claiming that he didn't want to be considered a hero. He had left the scene swiftly in order to avoid any attention. His heroics eventually caught up with him as he was invited onto the Jimmy Kimmel Show. He was also offered the chance to make first pitch at the game of his beloved Dodgers, proving that good deeds do in fact go rewarded. When a store in Des Moines, Iowa was targeted by 2 armed robbers in December of 2014, the store owners were terrified. Not only were their own lives in danger, but their 2 children were also in the store with them. 7-year-old Victoria witnessed the entire incident. In perhaps the most disturbing ordeal of the ongoings, one of the robbers placed a gun to the head of a customer and forced them onto the ground. This same customer, though terrified, then used her instincts to behave heroically. She instructed Victoria to lay under her own body, protecting her just like a human shield. She continued to cover her until the entire incident was over. This woman seemed determined to protect Victoria in the event that any shots were to be fired. Both parents, Mamie and David Uguami, have thanked the woman who bravely safeguarded their daughter. The robbers of the store remain unidentified. Buffalo bus driver Darnell Barton had been driving buses for more than 3 years when he happened upon an incident he never had before. Occurring in October 2013, CCTV footage taken from inside the bus shows a lady standing on the right-hand side of the shot, precariously placed on the edge of a bridge over an expressway. The footage then shows Barton stopping his passenger-filled bus before asking if the woman was okay. After receiving no response, Darnell leaves his bus to attend to her. In the footage, he grabs her hand and guides her over the safe side of the guardrail. He sat with the woman until another figure turned up who claimed to be a counselor. The woman, who was considering suicide, is thought to be in her 20s. In an interview, Darnell claimed that his appearance at the incident was merely fate, saying, quote, "I was supposed to be there for her at that moment." He also claimed that he wanted to help the unlucky lady through whatever it was she was struggling with. After he rescued the woman and boarded his bus once more, the passengers on board gave Darnell a round of applause. After the incident, Barton was sent gifts by a host of admirers, including $10,000 from Donald Trump. Although Barton has not spoken to the woman since the incident, he continues to hope that his act of kindness helped her through her troubles. In this dashcam footage, shot in Anchorage, Alaska, a dog leads a state trooper down a dark road to a flaming home. When Ben Heinrich's shed set fire in 2010, he let out his German shepherd named Buddy, telling him, quote, "We need to get help." Buddy then took it upon himself to gather help, sprinting from the home in an attempt to seek aid. The driving state trooper who came upon the dog, Terrence Shanigan, was at first uncertain of what to do. Shanigan was aware of a fire in the surrounding area but had been unable to locate it due to his GPS malfunctioning. He had no choice but to pursue the crafty canine. The trooper had previous experience dealing with dogs and therefore felt confident that this dog was in danger. In the footage, Buddy can be seen looking over his shoulder multiple times, a sign that the dog was seeking a pursuit. Shanigan arrived at the scene to find a fire and realized he had made the right decision. When Shanigan opened the door of his vehicle, Buddy nudged the trooper with his nose and pointed him in the direction of the burning building. Because of his actions, they were able to put out the fire, which luckily hadn't spread to the home. After the incident, Buddy was awarded a silver dog bowl. Ben Heinrichs actually claims that Buddy already saved him on 2 previous occasions, chasing off bears while fishing. Buddy sadly passed away in November 2016, but is remembered for his grand heroics. In a Tampa County jail in 2009, 24-year-old inmate Douglas Burden callously attacked 64-year-old Deputy Kenneth Moon, who was sitting alone at his station. Surprised while on duty, he was no match for his assailant. Though the provocation or cause remains unclear, the attack was swift and violent. In the footage, Burden punches Moon and places him in a chokehold. The choke could have killed Moon had no one interfered. The footage then shows 3 other inmates come to the rescue of Moon. They grapple Burden to the floor, while one uses Moon's radio to call for backup. As the footage continues, more inmates pile in to help in an incident which likely saved Moon's life. Burden was being held on drug charges, while of the rescuers, the charges were varied. One was being held for attempted murder, one for assault and battery, and another for home invasion. Burden was placed in solitary confinement after the incident. He was charged with battery of a law enforcement officer. Moon was allegedly very popular with inmates and particularly well-liked. The commander of the facility went on to tell reporters, quote, "The response of the inmates in this case, I think, speaks volumes as to the fact that we treat these men and women in our facilities with a lot of respect." Moon survived the incident with only minor injuries. In June 2014, a gunman entered a Seattle college campus, intent on firing shots upon unsuspecting students. The gunman managed to kill 1 person and wound 2 others. While attempting to reload his weapon, he was tackled to the ground by a fearless student. The shooter, 27-year-old Aaron Ibarra, was apprehended by the savior of the day, John Meese, who pepper sprayed the gunman before diving onto him. In the footage, he rips the gun from the man's hands, then runs out of the shot. After hiding the gun, he is then seen returning to take down the attacker once more, undeterred by the knife held in the gunman's hands. Meese then waits until another brave hero enters the scene. The footage shows others looking unalarmed, as apparently they first considered the incident to be an innocuous end-of-year prank. Had 26-year-old Meese not interfered, the death toll would have been much higher. Ibarra later claimed that shooting his first victim had been, quote, fun. Ibarra pleaded not guilty to murder and other charges on the grounds of insanity, but was eventually sentenced to 112 years in prison. John Meese received citizen honors from the Congressional Medal of Honor Society for his brave act of heroism. In May 2018, 22-year-old Malian immigrant Mamadou Gassalma saved a child from certain death. In the Paris incident, the 4-year-old child was dangling from a 4th-floor balcony while his father was allegedly away shopping. Reporters are unsure how the child managed to reach and climb over the balcony. Footage of Mamadou's daring and dramatic rescue attempt shows him leaping up the 4 stories in under 30 seconds, risking his own life to save a child he did not know. The footage also shows a neighbor attempting to hold the child. This neighbor, because of the layout of the building, was unable to fully reach the child. Undeterred by the danger of the situation, Mamadou swiftly and smoothly climbs up the 4 stories using only his bare hands. In the footage, which has been widely shared all over social media, onlookers can be heard cheering and whooping in support of Mamadou. Mamadou arrived in France a few months earlier, harboring dreams of starting a new life in the country. Shortly after the incident, he was invited to meet French President Emmanuel Macron. Macron spoke with Mamadou about the incident and offered him permanent French residency to reward his daring escapade. He was also given a certificate of bravery and offered a job in the French fire service. Whether or not he accepted the job offer is thus far unknown. Thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a rating and subscribe, and hit that bell icon if you haven't already.